What's going on, bros and girls? Today I'll be doing an unboxing and overview of an Ultrabook that I believe is probably one of the best PC-based laptop solutions you can get if you do any type of video editing, graphics work, or word processing on the go. It's a Toshiba Satellite U840w, and it's very unique because it's the first laptop with a 21:9 aspect ratio screen. Yes, I know you may think that's an awkward resolution at first, and that's exactly what I thought too, and some of you may think that this is achieved by reducing the amount of vertical pixels, but it's actually the exact same vertical height as most conventional laptops at 768, but you're also getting noticeably more horizontal real estate at 1792 pixels wide, so you're basically able to fit quite a lot more on your screen. This is good for things like graphics work like in Photoshop, so you're able to fit more toolbars comfortably on the side without it overlapping your workspace, and video editing like in Premiere Pro, where you'll be able to fit a lot more of the timeline in with that huge width. Even for applications like Microsoft Word, you'll benefit greatly with this resolution as you can fit 2 pages easily on the screen at a good viewable size. There's obviously 1080p res Windows laptops out there, but that is in a much higher price bracket, and you can also get the Retina screened Apple laptops, but those average even higher at pretty much 3 times the price of this. Because this resolution and form factor isn't very common, it didn't really take off in the market, and now you can get what in the last quarter used to be an over $1,000 laptop for about $550 to $600-ish, which in my opinion is probably the best deal you can get in an Ultrabook, considering the extra screen space and the performance this thing packs. And for the most up-to-date pricing and availability, I've included some links for you down below. There's also the U845w, which is the exact same laptop, but it's just the 845 is for North American regions, and the 840 is for European and French-speaking Canadian regions, which is the one I got since I'm close to Le Québécois. So for a quick tour around the box, on the front you have the Toshiba and Intel logos, a fancy elongated name for a laptop. The bottom corner has some storage instructions, and on the bottom you got nothing. This side just reminds you to always carry an umbrella, drink from a glass, shoot your arrows in pairs, and only place boxes labeled 6 on the bed. And this was also made in China. This side just shows your nomenclature, your SKUs and UPCs, and the fact that it's Energy Star compliant. The top has more of the same with a seal in the center, which is an official Toshiba label, so you'll definitely know if your product has been opened and or pre-used. Finally, the back is pretty much the same as the front, except for some battery warnings, like if you place your batteries in a glass and happen to damage them, you should hop in a bonfire. So onto the unboxing, you just break the aforementioned tape seal with your penetration tool, and after the seal has been thoroughly penetrated and busted open, you can proceed to open her wide up. So flipping her over and taking her top off, the first thing you see are all the power cords, which includes the power brick, which isn't tiny, but it's not honking gigantic either. And you also have the cord itself, which plugs into the wall, and as you can see, I have the North American 3-prong connector. The next thing you have is an odd-shaped box which contains all your literature. The first piece is a $10 music credit to eMusic. Next, you have a note saying you have 30 days of free trial for Norton. Personally, I'm a fan of Nod 32 though. And after that, the third piece is just a small catalog showing some accessories you can get for your laptop, including portable hard drives, displays, and carrying cases. Lastly, you have your user information guide, which guides you through the setup process and has some troubleshooting and safety info. And after finally getting through the accessories, you now have the Ultrabook itself, which is very well protective in a pretty thick layer of soft closed cell foam. This is a lot more durable than open cell and can actually handle more than a few accidental drops. So outside of playing a full game of soccer with your Ultrabook box, this is pretty much guaranteed to get to you in one piece. So it's covered in a layer of plastic to prevent any moisture, and cutting open that layer, you can see that Toshiba have included a dual-purpose cleaning cloth cover that protects the top lid and display, and can also act as a cleaning cloth if you happen to get fingerprints or dirt on your screen. So you now have the U840w in its full uncovered glory, and the video definitely doesn't do it justice, because in real life it's absolutely stunning and I love the design. The lid is a hybrid of 2 materials, the larger part being a beautiful brushed aluminum that reflects different shades of gray and silver, and the smaller portion is a very rugged piece of rubberized soft touch material, which I have since found out really does help with grip, and if I wanted to, I can actually carry this Ultrabook in between just my thumb and index finger, and it won't slip out at all. So turning around the notebook, we'll start at the back and has quite a lot of vents which should help keep it cool. On the left side you have 2 USB 3.0 ports as well as a full-size RJ45 Ethernet jack and a Kensington lock. The front is pretty clean of ports and only has an SD card slot and 3 LED indicators for battery levels, power, and wireless. And finally, on the right side you got your headphone and microphone jacks, another USB 3.0 port which is one more than most, a full-size HDMI out port, and a DC in 19 volt jack. The bottom is pretty clutter-free. It just has your SKUs and serial numbers along the bottom corner, a forced shutdown hole over here in case your laptop is absolutely unresponsive, and 4 rubber feet which are extremely anti-slip, and I found works really well because it's pretty damn hard to slide your laptop around once it's sitting on the table. And as you can tell, the entire bottom surface is covered in that same soft touch rubber that's on the lid, and it's also very fingerprint and dirt resistant. So opening up the lid, the first thing you'll probably notice is the glossy screen and how reflective it is, as you can see the reflection of myself and what's around me. That may turn some of you off, but glossy screens do in general provide more vibrant colors and images, and I will let you know that once the screen is actually on, the reflections are barely noticeable unless you are in direct sunlight. And in that case, even matte screens are hard to see as well anyways because of the brightness of the sun. So looking around the inside surface, on the top corners you have your power button as well as the Harmon Kardon logo, because this is packed with some very premium speakers which are probably the best sounding laptop speakers I have ever heard. The keyboard is the usual chiclet style which is becoming very common in laptops, and these keys are all fully backlit. Because mine is the U840w model, which is the Canadian/French format, you do see the bilingual keyboard which I'm not a fan of, but most of you will have the English only U845w version available to you. And on the bottom portion you have a texturized surface which is also smudge and fingerprint resistant. You have a clickable touchpad which does support multi-touch. It's not glass, but it is very smooth. And besides that you have the removable stickers including your main CPU spec, the included operating system, and the Ultrabook certification. And finally on the top you have your HD webcam with the webcam status LED and microphone beside it. So a few last things I want to show you before we go is the main benefits I mentioned in the beginning. The first of which is in graphics applications like Photoshop, where you can have your toolbars on the side and still have an adequate amount of room to work with on your image. Also, with Premiere Pro, as you can see, I have a wider space to place a timeline so I can go to points in time in my videos a lot more easier. And with word processors like Microsoft Word, you can see how comfortably you can view pages side by side with the text size still at a very viewable size. So I'll most likely be doing a full review of this laptop once I get a good feel of it. And if you want to see that, just hit the like button or give me a shout in the comments and I'll have it up as soon as possible. And I hope you guys all enjoyed my unboxing and overview of the Toshiba Satellite U840w/U845w Ultrabook. If you did, please thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And follow me on Twitter, it would be much appreciated. Until next time, YouTube, peace!